Good afternoon, everybody, and thanks for joining. I'm Brent Windsor, the chair of the Wales and West branch, and welcome to our webinar today. I will hand you over shortly to Shelley Butler and Casper Vick of Steve Vick International for today's webinar. Just a couple of protocols. Can we make sure that you post any questions as you go through? And we'll take questions at the end. And if you don't get a chance to post, we will be able to open up so you can actually ask your question in person. So thanks again. Thanks for your attention. Can I just remind you to switch off your cameras and place your microphones on mute for the presentation. We've got a few more people joining us. But I was anxious to make sure we started on time. So I will hand you over now to Casper for his presentation. Thank you very much indeed.
Thank you very much, Brent. Good afternoon, everyone, and thank you for joining this presentation on Steve Vick International's contract services. My name's Casper Vick, and I'm the Contract Services Director for Steve Vick International. And I'm going to talk you through a snapshot of the range of services that we offer our clients in the gas and water industries. So for those of you that don't know, Steve Vick, my father, founded a business in 1981, and contract services has been at the heart of the business since its inception, first delivering foam bags to flow stop small diameter mains, all the way up to the much larger diameter mains that we now flow stop, and the range of services that I'll go through with you this afternoon. We've branched out into other areas. From the gas, we went into water, and now we do carry out projects for Nuclear Decommissioning Authority, and even work branching out into other things like civils as well. So the company, we have 115 people currently employed by Steve Vick International. We have 6 depots spread around the country to serve our customers across the whole of the UK. And we have a mix of uses in these depots. Some are just bases for our contract service teams, and others are a place of supply of our products for our live mains insertion techniques and our arm of our hire business. So moving on to contract services, our latest addition to the techniques that we offer our gas customers is FBOS, which stands for Foam Bag Operation on Stubs. The technique was developed and field trialed during the summer of 2020. It was delivered on time and on budget, which is something that both Steve Vick International and Cadent are very proud of. It's the remote mains replacement technique for gas mains from 4-inch up to 8-inch. You can see some of the size ranges that we offer on that slide. And I'm going to play a short video for you now, which is going to explain, hopefully it works, everyone, but it'll explain the technique and the benefits of that technique. So here you can see the design of the nose cone and what it looks like in reality. The glam box is uniquely designed to house the two filling lines, the primary and the secondary. And you see that on the right-hand side there, where the primary is actually connected to a foam bag that's encased in a protective netting. And then you have the secondary there on the towing wire. The average cost for an FBOS insertion is about £3,500, which is compared to the traditional three-way traffic management, reinstatement, and the issues that go with that is very competitive. To this date, as you can see from the bottom there, since the approval in 2020, we've carried out over 1,100 successful FBOS operations, and as we've added to the size range, originally was 4 and 6 inch, and now we've added to the size range to go all the way up to 8 inch, and so the technique will prove to be incredibly popular. Another technique that has been developed with successful collaboration with the UK gas distribution network is eSeal. This was developed in partnership with Northern Gas Networks, where you have FBOS, which is the replacement of a stub. eSeal provides the complete abandonment of a tier 1 stub. And we cover the same size ranges up to 8 inch. So the foam bag on eSeal is housed in a small capsule that allows it to navigate some bends. And when it is at the final transition point, which is marked on the right-hand side there in a red square, the foam bag is then deployed and then straddles that final transition joint, and then the foam is then filled, then leaving the main dead. So just to go into a bit more detail, the main is flow stopped using traditional foam flow stopping bags. Then the glam box is attached to be surveyed using a camera to check for size changes or off takes. Using the camera, the bag is then placed directly on that final transition joint. A set amount of foam is injected into the bag and allowed to cure for 30 minutes. When the main is left to decay, the rest of the stub is filled and handed back to the client. The cost for eSeals are competitive again with the cost of a cutout of a parent main connection and can be installed from distances at over 50 meters. The typical cost for an eSeal over a 10-meter distance is about £2,300. This video here shows the extension. Excuse me, sorry, everybody. This is the extension to 9 to 18 inch in eSeal 2. But I think the technical gremlins have taken over. Apologies, everybody.
Can you just check that everyone can hear me? Can you understand the video?
It's stopping. Apologies, everybody. It looks like we're having some technical difficulties with that video. But the idea...
Can't hear the videos either.
Okay. All right. Thank you. So the eSeal technique is designed for 9 inch to 18 inch. eSeal 2 is the extension of that, the eSeal project. And the idea of is for the bag to be installed again from a remote location and is filled in 2 stages. So it has an inner bag and an outer bag. And as you can see from the pictures, it's launched through a modified Steve Vick glam box. And the main is camera surveyed, and then the bag is then positioned in that final transition joint. So every time that the bag is on the final transition joint before the parent main. So it's filled in 2 stages, is installed over distances of about 20 to 25 meters. Using our camera systems and the special design, it's then designed to not allow any foam to pass forward. However, there will be some foam that passes backwards that you can see from that picture on the bottom right there. Both techniques, FBOS and eSeal, are delivered as a contract service by Steve Vick International. Excavations are prepared by the primary contractor, and once the techniques have been deployed, they are then handed back to the contractor for reinstatement. Steve Vick International also offer various cutting services for our clients using a range of cutting equipment. Here we have our different models of keel cutter for the large diameter mains from 12-inch up to 48-inch. While these cutters offer excellent ability to cut mains in situ, they can be used for bevel cutting. Using guide rings, the cutters are able to cut and bevel steel or ductile pipes in preparation for jointing. The 2 blades working simultaneously will cut in 1 rotation and give you a perfect bevel of 11 degrees or 22 degrees, depending on the manufacture of the pipe and the joint you're using. We are able to cut any mains of any size in this fashion, usually in a compound before being taken to site, or we have capabilities to do the works in ground. We also offer a range of smaller diameter cutting services using our rotary and window cutters. Here you see the rotary cutter, which is used for the circumferential cuts, with a max cutting depth of 13 mil and only needing around 3 inches of clearance around the pipe to be used. We also have our ductile window cutter, which our contract services teams use. Usually for longitudinal cuts, our window cutter is typically used on inserted mains and for much longer distances than a GDN would use on a mains replacement technique. This is a typical cutout that we would usually carry out for much larger operations, such as new connections or flow stops on larger mains. We also have a pipe spreader, which is used to do 1 single cut, and then the pipe spreader will then open up the metallic to expose the PE inside. Another service we offer is an under pressure T and branch saddle drilling service. The clients can provide the T, which they would usually fit, and then Steve Vick International would then test that fitting using our smart tester technology, and we would then take over and drill that fitting, and we're able to drill from diameters from 50 to 200 mil. An established and popular technique we offer is our grout filling service. Using our in-house designed grout rig, we can fill mains, ducts or annuluses from 3-inch up to 48-inch. We are able to put a range of products into the main depending on the customer's needs, whether it be structural or for cathodic protection. A brand new market for Steve Vick International is the filling of cable ducts for below ground cables that have been directionally drilled. In this picture, you'll see the end seals, which are a Steve Vick product, which are wrapped around the edge to seal the ends of the pipe that was to be grout filled. And then we would then fill in between our end seals for a full complete fill. So over the last 18 months, we've been working with Mott MacDonald Bentley and Anglian Water on the SPA project. This is one of the largest infrastructure projects in Europe, and this short video will just show you some pictures. There's no sound to this video. So from these photos, you can see our typical setup on a grouting project. Our rig is compact and lightweight, and it can fit in the back of a 3.5-ton van, or even for Brent, we will put it on a pallet and ship it to Greenland for use on a project he had over there. This versatility of our rig gives an advantage over vat pumping. With less waste produced and a smaller footprint on site, we're able to access projects which traditionally would have been very difficult. We can also pump to a distance of up to 150 to 200 meters away, which then takes us out of any risk areas of permitry, such as trackside or in a substation, being too close to any overhead power cables. This case study here illustrates the different materials that we can use, either based on what our clients' needs are. So in this project here, this was a foam fill underneath the railway, and that was specifically down to the client's needs. Usually it would be a grout fill for a structural, but that wasn't needed in this case. We also used our end-sealed installation, so end seals would have been fitted either side of the railway line, and then we would have filled for the foam, and a very quick and easy, simple job. On this high-profile project in London, we were able to make bespoke bags to fill an annular space to prevent any reinstatement slump. Where it was not possible to use an end seal, because the main had been cracked, there were uneven cuts. We designed this annular bag that fitted in the end of the main, and then our contract service team from Steve Vick International filled that bag. Further up on this project, we were then required to inject bentonite into the annular space using our grout rig as per the client's requirements, showing the versatility of the contract services team. Over the last 30 years, we've developed a range of products and techniques for the repair and replacement of internal pipe systems. Our client base has grown over the years to include industrial, commercial, and private networks, as well as the gas distribution networks. The next few slides are some of those techniques. A key service we offer for the replacement of an internal gas riser is live riser transfer. Steve Vick International will fit an under pressure tee to the riser in a good condition area. A new supply is then brought in and connected, tested and purged. Then we will use our foam bag technology. We cut off the leaking or damaged part of the riser, and this can be utilized on internal or external risers. Live service transfer is very similar to riser transfer, but it's for in-ground services. So again, new supply off a new main, an under pressure tee is fitted, and the service is then cut in and backfed. Then Steve Vick International will then foam off and then carry out a cut and cap. A product we supply to our contract service teams is the live service isolator. Developed alongside National Grid, now Cadent, this tool isolates the gas service utilizing a rubber stopper on horizontal or vertical pipes. The rapid service isolator is the next generation of the isolation tools utilizing our full seal sealant. It is applied via a set of modified mole grips, and this tool is perfect for emergency use. Very quick and simple and easy to use. And a demonstration of that is this case study here. 10 floors up on an external riser, rather than cutting off the actual whole building, we were able to get in a MUP and get up onto the 10th floor and inject RSI sealant into an anaconda coming off that main riser, and to isolate that supply to that property. Then we would then fit an under pressure tee just below that anaconda and then run a new service into the property, removing the need for the riser to be shut off and only affecting supply to one customer, saving interruption, massive cost without having to put scaffolding up. It's a huge saving for the GDN. Our injector seal service is applied on leaking joints and of screwed gas pipework. Where jointing sealant has typically dried out, this kit injects a small amount of sealant into the threads via a compression clip. This is a quick and low-cost repair of a gas system without having to decommission the network. Pipeline isolation valves is PIV. Over time, areas around high-rise multi-occupancy buildings, the isolation valve cover can be disturbed or removed, meaning no form of isolation for the building is visible. So using a hybrid of our live service transfer technique, Steve Vick International are able to create a way for our clients to install a new pipeline isolation valve without interrupting gas supply. The final 2 slides are a case study of our some interesting emergency works that were carried out by our contract service teams. The project here utilised our foam bag technology to flow stop a large diameter main. With no conventional form of isolation for a medium pressure main available, the client asked Steve Vick International to come to flow stop this main in order to isolate the leak. So over a night period, foam bags were installed, the leak was stopped, and that allowed then the client to remove the damaged section of pipe, which you can see there, large crack on the left-hand side is about 12 inches in length. And this is a 30-inch medium pressure main, so huge help to the gas distribution network. And the final case study was outside the Bank of England in central London, where a 24-inch gas main was leaking inside a subway tunnel. With restrictions on space inside the tunnel and a leak, and in such a central location, pressure was high, and to isolate the leak as quickly as possible. We first intended to use our eSeal 2 technique from a remote location to put a bag inside the subway tunnel. Unfortunately, due to bends, we were unable to do that, so we had to use our traditional flow stopping methods. Once applied, the main was then ready to be cut and capped and isolate the leak, saving the client a huge cost of having to open up the subway tunnel, which would have gone into the millions of pounds. And in such a central location, it was a massive benefit. So that's a snapshot of what we do at Steve Vick International for our contract service teams. I'd be happy to take any questions that anyone may have.
I've got one here, which is cutting fluid needed to cut steel pipe?
Yes. When cutting steel, it's absolutely mandatory that you use some form of soluble cutting solution. You can use just water, but it does wear on the blades on the machine a lot more. So always advisable to use cutting solution. However, some pipes are not able to do that because of the nature of what's inside them. So it's trying to find materials that you could use on, say, drinking water is what I'm trying to say there. Yeah.
Right. Thank you very much for that.
Thank you, Brent. Thank you.
Appreciated. Appreciate all the it's very interesting, fascinating for me. I think you've covered so much ground there of what you actually offer that people may be sort of just trying to understand everything you do. So thanks once again for the presentation, and thank you to the Guild for hosting us again. Thank you very much indeed.